Our story begins with a fight between a poisonous spider and an ant colony. That big spider is just one and is entirely and completely entangled in the very large, massive trunk of a tree. And without leaving, it begins to expel a lot of corrosive poison. The poisonous expel of that spider now comes into contact with the fragile legs of the ants and begins to burn, causing 30 damage consecutively in all the ants. But naturally, they change direction, and our protagonist, when noticing this, starts to use the poison spray in all directions on the trunk of the tree, thus covering a much larger area and hitting much more ants. And while he does this, he keeps thinking about which player can cause damage in the area right after starting the game, huh? This guy is amazing. Even though he has a couple of damage in the area, creatures of the same level, or damage A. The spider can't kill all enemies instantly, so all he has to do is activate another skill. And so he does, he uses the silk on the beginner's sword. Now he can control that sword with the silk of the spider. And with that, he can cause long-range damage. So he throws the sword and controls its movements with the silk of the spider. The sword hits full on the head of a spider, and the damage was fatal. And so he keeps throwing that sword further and further. This way, he can kill about 6 ants extremely fast and even can level up, going from level 2 to 3 to 4. Unfortunately, that dead spider can no longer recover life and mana. And the combination of parasitism with poison spray and the sword with silk cannot be used for a long time. But in a way, when he combines with the master pedicure, it is still extremely effective. Sometimes it can kill immediately. He knows that the fire ant nest is nearby, and the corpse of his fallen allies is attracting a colony of ants. But he is motivated to fulfill his duty with this spider, which means that this is the next phase. He jumps from there, and when he falls to the ground, he starts killing several ants. The weak point of ants is the part of the body, because they connect the whole ant's body, so just one bite is enough to kill them all at once. Thus, it can activate the weak point attack, causing much greater damage than the master pedicure, and using the silk. Even without hands, he can use weapons, while cutting with a long range. While slicing several enemies with the sword, he uses the silk again, and catches several ants and wraps them in the body of that spider. This way, he can form a physical blocking armor in the spider's body, drastically increasing its durability. So, since now he is armed, he prepares to face that colony of ants. Well, I think this guy is pretty crazy. Facing an ant colony with only a spider. This is crazy. For you to understand how it all started, we must go back a few days earlier. Tonight will be the big day of the game's launch. And this guy can't wait anymore. 1 month is left for the summer holidays. He gets up and leaves the room quickly. After all, no one will prevent him from playing that game. While he runs down the hallway, he faces the class monitor. Wow, he got scared. And she got scared too. It wasn't for him to be out of the room, but he keeps running, and it looks like he's going to run over her. He puts his hands on the window and jumps over her, crossing without difficulty. The girl tells him to come back immediately, but he says he has diarrhea and can't hold on anymore. But this girl's very angry. I think she won't give up easily. Sometime later at night at 7 o'clock, he can start creating characters. Yay, living a normal life is stressful. Studying, college, tests, work, and all he wants now is just to play this game. After all, life is precious and you only live once. One opportunity, one. That game, Stellaris, is the first game of humanity to use technology virtual universe. In addition, the first player to reach level 1000 automatically becomes an action figure in Stellaris, representing infinite wealth and fame. All this guy wants now is to enter the game, defeat the best players in Stellaris and stay at the top, become the strongest human. That is really his dream. That girl there is his sister. It's already the second time he broke her chest. She knows it was him because she saw the new helmet he bought. Poor girl, she kept knocking on the door, asking if it was him because she will tell dad and mom, but he says it wasn't him. While he thinks he's going to make money again and pay back to her, while the time is passing, he's getting into the game. Now, all he sees is the welcome screen to the Lightyear world. Now, the login has been completed. A girl introduces herself, the assistant. She will guide him in the creation of the character. You know that this game is a virtual reality game, right? While she tries to hide something, she asks what he's doing there. The bastard down there says he's checking the quality of the modeling. Damn! And after checking the quality, he says it's very impressive. The rich details, realistic textures, lighting, and vivid shadows, even the NPC reactions are animated. It's time for him to use the game's widget. He decides to use the same name of the game, Stellaris, with 2 L's. Unfortunately, there are already people using this ID. And 7 stars? There are also people using it. Stellaris 1, 2, 3, Stellaris 1, 1 star of the morning of Mars. Every ID he tries, there is already someone using it. So he asks her to check which one is available. And look, the name available is written Sex Star. So he asks her to change to Yang King Falsified Star. Yeah, it seems like there won't be a way, it will have to be this one. And now comes stage 2, the creation of the character. It has 2 options, standard character and immersive character. The difference between the two is that in standard characters, the system gives the option of limited race, limited for him to choose and assign points to allocate. For immersive characters, the system will create a race adapted to their qualities and will randomly put it in the game. And it seems to me that option 2 develops much more promising stories, but somewhat unconventional. So that means he can do a miracle with option 2. He will choose 2, so it's done. The system is now confirming the selection, and will start the analysis. The system starts analyzing the cerebral waves, the personality, the neural level, the cultural level, social relationship, and analysis of physical aptitude. And finally, the character ability. A while later, the analysis is complete. He's all convinced, thinking the system saw that he's a master of combat and genius, with neurons. Engines developed at an extraordinary reaction speed. He thinks Hell get a divine level right from the start, but look at the result of his analysis. It was for the social parasite, an ignorant, unproductive, shameless, convinced, careless, and completely useless idiot. That's all she has for him now, and she wishes him good luck. Again, as soon as he gets the level 1000, but definitely, while he reflects, he thinks he can't accept it. No doubt, this game is in trouble. While the game is doing its reincarnation, he realizes that everything is dark. Was he eaten by a monster after reincarnation? So he decides to check his attributes, but unfortunately, he has not yet been born and cannot see his attributes yet. Which may mean that he is still in the egg. He can't see his appearance. You don't know how to identify your race and see your attributes. But a type of immersive character is great. The feeling is indescribable. So he starts writing a conversation. Welcome everyone, the faction rulers who are still on the Dragon Island. Now everyone will prepare for the incubation ceremony of the future ruler of the Black Dragon tribe. He also chooses some classifications. Golden Dragon King, Red Dragon King, White Dragon King, Metal Dragon King, Fairy Dragon King, and also has classifications without any specific order. That must be the Disha, the character's initials. But what does she mean by Dragon Island and rulers? It seems that everyone is important there, but then he realizes, what? Eclosion ceremony? Well, if he's in the egg, that he reincarnated as a future ruler of the Black Dragon tribe. That stellar game had an official tradition. Adult dragons are legendary creatures of level 600. Black Dragon are in test, 3 stronger branches of dragons. They practically born with infinite magic power, a magic talent inferior only to fairy dragons, and a slightly weaker physique than the gold and metal dragons. The intelligence inferior to the dragon wisdom, and maintained a relatively large population after the War of the Gods. That system had given an extremely low, but in the future, he knows he can get extremely strong. He tries to feel his body, and it seems that he is elongated and has a tail too. From the outside, people start to scream for everyone to get ready, to be shocked. And he's all convinced in there, thinking that with him, the tribe of dragons will certainly reach greatness. As soon as he breaks that shell, he will take the dragon back to their incredible peak. He feels the shell and thinks it's very soft. Or is it because his claws are very sharp? I think the hug shell will be very easy. Well, so he does. He uses his claws to break that egg. When the egg starts to break, he sees through the gap because it looks like becoming trees. Oh, he keeps coming out and he sees gigantic trees. He really thought he had claws, but I think he's more for a very cute hand. And his tail? Well, I can't define what that is, but it doesn't look like a dragon's tail. His ears are very short. Oh, this animal is very cute. It looks like a little lizard, which means that he will evolve again, no doubt. While he's there, watching his little green body, several dragons are gathered around him. Now he understood that he was just a little grasshopper hanging on a tree next to the protagonist who was born. Now, he opens his attribute panel, trembling with fear. Yang King obtained the parasite raccoon breed. Value 10, strength 0.0, life 50, mana 50, and the rest is all 0. But he has a skill, parasitism, silkfiasson. Yeah, it seems that humans are much stronger than this little lizard. A common human, which is considered a low-level life, has a limit of level of at least 500. His is 10 points. Damn. In that game, Stellaris, the value of race was represented by the points of innate attributes of a creature. At each level, you can earn points and can distribute them between strength, reconstitution, intelligence, agility, and charm to determine your profession. The higher the race and the line, the greater the strength of the race. And low-level life forms have 50 to 60 points, including humans, dwarves, orcs, elemental beings, and others. And also the high-level life forms have 60 to 70 points. including elves, yokais, angels, demons, and several other super life forms, have 70 to 80 points, including the so-called dragons, phoenixes, archangels, archdemons. And then comes the semi-deities that has 80 to 90 points, including Embryo, Stone of the Nine Tribulations, and others. That is the maximum limit the players can choose. And this guy here won only 10 points of level attribute, his attributes. They will be equal to that of a mere human. Level 10, and even at level 1000, he would be easily crushed by someone level 100. All he feels now is envy of that little dragon that just was born. In the end, he is a little insect, and what does he need to do now? Was to face his destiny ahead, to try to change everything. He starts screaming, calling for the Black Dragon Prince. Observing that birth of that extremely strong black dragon, he thinks that little insect didn't come in vain. Well, unfortunately, he has to go now. It seems that this guy was completely immersed in the game. He thinks that maybe he should delete his character and create one again. But he knows that the creation of non-immersive characters is not so real. The system notifies him that he just found a black dragon egg that can be collected. Wow, is that true? Can he collect this egg? The black dragon believes that that egg is not easy to be broken. For this reason, he has not broken it yet. The metal dragon says that the Great Asian took about 10 whole days to break an egg. The golden dragon tells the black dragon not to wait. After all, everyone is anxious for the banquet. It seems that time does not matter there. All that matters is just the birth. Well, it seems that they are leaving then. After all, everyone wants a banquet. So he gives a last look at the egg. But where is the egg? Wow, the egg disappeared, and instead of the egg appeared the little lizard, making up an excuse. Egg? What egg? Ah, she thought no one wanted it, but everyone knows that who took the egg was him. Using his system, the dragon gets furious and starts to activate his forbidden spell, Divine Weapon Technique. While the dragon puts his claws on that little body, he says that his last words are just to choose suicide. He will not give any egg to anyone. And so he is completely petrified and then burst with an uncanny strength. The player, Yan King. He died and lost the chance to participate in the dragon's fight. And he also did not register in the newbies village. Now, he will randomly appear in the jungle of the human faction. Congratulations. He just became the first player to die on the server and won the title. Died super fast. 10 points. Reward Resurrection Ring. He now has a chance to be reborn every day. Congratulations on completing the mission of the newbie. Get out of the life of the newbie. And you are the first to enter nature, winning the title Anxious Explorer. 10 points. Ticket unlimited food. And he just completed his secondary mission, Dragon Island, in person. The birth of the Black Dragon Princess. And naturally, he became an enemy of the dragon race and getting less than 500 points of friendship with the dragon faction. And finally, he became a natural enemy, sworn to the dragon race. But he doesn't even regret a little of his decisions. With a beginning like this, when he reached level 1000, he will be amazing. So he hears a growl and looks up to see what it is, and there it is. She, a level 3 bird, preparing her claws to catch him. Wow, this guy got scared. But he was fast and managed to deflect the claws of that hawk, but the hawk did not give up. He will come back to try again, so he goes down at full speed with the claws prepared and very sharp. The guy doesn't believe that that big animal can ambush a small level 1 insect like him. He can dodge again, going more to the side of the tree. In fact, a human could never be hanging like that on a tree. This body has its advantages, but you know that a hawk also has huge claws and can also hang on trees, right? Which means that this hawk is wanting a duel with him, and by his face, he will not refuse. He decides to equip the beginner's iron sword with 10 of attributes, a trash weapon for a trash like him. With the two hanging on the tree, he was in advantage. After all, his body had more feet. But yes, he managed to hold on to the tree while attacking the guinea pig. But look, what a novelty, he only gave 1 damage. Unfortunately, without spending attribute points, he can't penetrate the defense and can only deal 1 or 2 damage points. But then he has a plan and decides to provoke the hawk. The hawk jumps and attacks with the beak, but he manages to deviate again. He knows he has an advantage on the ground and turns the tree and attacks suddenly from behind and hits a full blow right at the back of the hawk. Well, naturally, that place was certainly a weak point of the hawk because he was killed with just 1 blow there. Congratulations, he even managed to level up. In the end, he gained a good amount of experience. The system continues the notifications that he repeatedly attacked the same part of the body to kill, and he won the title Master of the Pedicle. By using this title, the damage on the back of other creatures increases by 30%, including the feet, and has a chance of 1% instant death. He jerks the body of the guinea pig, but unfortunately, there is no item there. It seems that he will have to use this newbie sword for longer. And while it observes its system, he thinks that after surviving, he has to hurry up and increase his level. But first, he must plan how he will follow his path. Even though he has achieved that dragon egg, he has become the natural enemy of the dragon race, and naturally, he is unable to touch this egg. And selling it is also impossible. After all, it was achieved by opening the dungeon of the Dragon Island. While observing his system, he realized that he had the Ring of Resurrection. When he put that ring, he will add an extra revival per day. But he knows that in Stellaris, the levels and colors of the items vary according to the colors between common, elite, lord, epic, hero, mythical, legendary, ancient, primal, and supreme. And the classification of creatures too. And that resurrection ring is actually a mythical level equipment, worthy of being created by a legendary dragon. And he also has a mission item label, which means that the story of the Dragon Island is not over yet. And there's also a purchase tip. Limited, also good a level, treasure, sir. And later, when he is with the form, he can use this item. He also came with a set of newbies, a beginner iron sword, a shirt of beginner fabric. A pair of beginner pants doesn't have many attributes, but it's better than nothing. After equipping that paper shirt, he can get 10 defense points, and already the beginner pants, he gets 5% movement speed. But unfortunately, due to the incompatibility of the model, the effects of the equipment cannot be performed. That means he will be naked forever. So that means he has only one skill innate in the skill parasitism. He starts to activate his power in a kind of aura, begins to form in his body. That aura of energy totally changes shape and embraces the body of that dead guinea pig as if it were made of rubber. He went over the head of the hawk. Parasitism was successful. Now our boy can even fly. His original body is very weak, but that parasitism ability allows him to take on the bodies of others as if they were his. If he manages to prepare those bodies well in advance, he can deal with any situation. But he still has 20 points of attributes available. For the 20 points of attributes available, all go to the Constitution. To increase health, only with the points of exceptional singular attributes, a parasitism can become a truly divine ability. A race value is 10 points. His strength is 0. Life 250, because he just put 50 points in life. And the Constitution 20, and mana 50. Intelligence remains at 0 until 10, agility nothing, and the defense point 10. Now he has even the charm, but it's in 0 points. All this guy has to do now is find stronger bodies and start winning many levels in that. Eagle has the Iron Beak ability. Parasitic, a value of the race, 25/7, life 250, constitution 3, intelligence 4, manus 120, speed movement 9%. While he flew, he spotted a level 6 magic rabbit, while he thought his health was very high compared to the health of this bird too. He also saw a yellow mutant wolf, level 25, and he realizes that this monster can defeat him with just one scratch. Next to him, there was also a goblin berserker, level 43. This one can't even get close. Now he sees an insect monster, praise god, level 5. Floral. Yeah, maybe not this one either. But nearby, there is also the golden poisonous spider, level 8, and he knows that monster is his natural enemy, being a small lizard. So he finds a small tree trunk and decides to stop there. While he observes everything up there with his hawk, he notices a colony of fire ant level 7, hunting poisonous spider with golden pattern. That spider looks very strong. But maybe he wouldn't have a chance against a colony of ants because there are many ants and they are all attacking together. But the spider is not wanting to run away either. But unfortunately, the ants don't have a plan and can't hit that spider. Unfortunately, it seems that they will lose. He knows that that spider is very strong and would be very useful for him to visit that monster. He thought the spider would lose. With a single blow, the spider released a poison that covered all the ants at once. The spider then left there and went straight to its web of spider, but it was already very corrupted. The ants got together and start to ruin all the bases of that web. Unfortunately, that web had no chance. That army of ants did it. And now he realized that ants are much smarter than the spider. And if she falls down there, everything will be over for her because there is an army waiting for that spider. She falls to the ground along with the ants. While the spider fights with the ants, this will be the perfect chance for him. As soon as the ants manage to kill that spider with the gold standard, this will be the perfect opportunity to immortalize that spider with its parasitism. While he finishes talking, the guinea pig observes everything, shocked. That spider released its poison and managed to kill several ants at once. But the ants, even small, are in larger numbers and continue to corrode its paws. That spider has now lost 20% of its life. Since he has that parasitism ability, he decides to parasitize a much stronger body and activates his ability towards the spider. The system starts to send several warnings. He is trying to be stronger. And now he starts the judgment. The force. While he tries to subdue the spider, he starts to scream that she will really let you be killed. Give her body to for him, that's the only way out for her. While he's busy trying to parasite her, the ants just keep tearing chunks out of that spider's body. Now they're dealing another 30 damage. Finally, he managed to pull off the parasitism successfully. After all, the insect's health dropped to 0. But then another bar popped up. Only this time, instead of a health bar, it was a durability bar, just like the health she had before. And once she loses all that durability, this body, it's going to be totally useless. Venomous spider with gold pattern, parasitized, race value 35 points, strength 11, health 250, constitution 7, mana 640, intelligence 8, attack 880, agility 5 points, god 560, charm 4 points, movement speed 12%. Now that he's got control of that spider body, he's about to serve up some epic revenge for that spider and wipe out all those ants. He activates the silk ability and manages to hang that spider from a tree branch, slipping right out of the trap that ant army had set up. Humans are way smarter than animals. What makes players smarter than monsters isn't just using tool sets, all about using their brains. All those ants can do now is just watch from below while he's chilling up on top of a branch. He goes on to say that all the resources, timing, and terrain advantages are actually the best and most powerful weapons you can have. While the spiders are climbing up, he hits the tree trunk with a splash of poison. Now, those ants are totally trapped. As they climb, the poison just drips down the trunk. His plan is absolutely flawless. When the poison starts hurting the ants, it's going to trigger the attribute from his original body, the Pedicle Master. And you guys remember, right? That title, Pedicle Master, boosts damage to other creatures' feet by about 30%, and there's even a 1% chance of instant death. The monsters, the poisonous spray from that spider now, hit the ants' fragile little legs and start burning, dealing 30 damage over and over to every single ant. But of course they switch directions, and our hero, noticing this, starts spraying poison in every direction all over the tree trunk. That way, he covers a much bigger area and hits way more ants. While he's doing this, he keeps thinking about which player can deal area damage. Right after that, after starting the game. This guy's just awesome. Even though he's got a couple of area damage moves, creatures at the same level, the damage from a spider can't wipe out all the enemies in one go, so all he's got to do now is activate one more ability, and that's exactly what he does. He uses spider silk on his beginner sword. Now, he can control that sword with the spider silk, and with that, he can deal long-range damage. So he throws the sword and controls its movements with the spider's silk. The sword lands a direct hit right on a spider's head, and the damage is fatal. And just like that, he keeps throwing that sword farther and farther each time. This way, he manages to take out about 6 ants super quickly, and even levels up, going from level 2 to 3, then to 4. Unfortunately, that dead spider can't recover health or mana anymore. And the combo of parasitism, poison spray, and the silk-wrapped sword can't be used for too long. But in a way, when he teams up with Master Pedicure, it's still insanely effective. Sometimes they can even score an instant kill. He knows the fire ant nest is lurking nearby, and the bodies of his fallen allies are drawing in a whole colony of ants. But he's fired up to fulfill his duty alongside the spider, which means it's time for the next phase. He leaps down, and the moment he hits the ground, he's already taking out a bunch of ants. The ants' weak spot is right in the middle section of their bodies, because that's the part that holds the whole ant together. So, just a single bite. That's all it takes to wipe them out in one go. This way, he can trigger a weak point attack, dealing way more damage than Master Pedicure ever could. And by using silk, even without hands, he can wield weapons and slash away from a distance. While he's slicing up a bunch of enemies with his sword, he whips out the silk again. He grabs a bunch of ants and wraps them all around the spider's body. That way, he can create a physical blocking armor on the spider's body, massively boosting its durability. So now that he's rocking some armor, he gets ready to take on that ant colony head-on. Honestly, I think this guy's totally nuts, charging straight at an ant colony with nothing but a spider. That's just madness. And when he does it, he says that low-level creatures either rebel or he's about to show everyone who's boss. So the battle kicks off, and a little while later, the spider's durability just melted away, completely gone. And he says shall be remembered as the hero who fought to the bitter end in that forest. At last, they actually pulled off that long-awaited victory. But it wasn't the victory he was hoping for. The real winners were the ant tribe, because they worked as a team. All he really did was prove that old saying, if you can't beat him, join him. The dude literally parasitized an ant. Now that the battle's over, the ants are heading back to their nest. But they're not going home empty-handed, they're taking that spider body with them. While he's daydreaming about whether lunch is ready back at his place, he finally realizes he's got some combat power now. And that means he can start slaying monsters to level up. And his very first target, an ant buddy. Since he's part of the tribe now, the others won't attack him, so he can just wipe them all out. Honestly, I'm starting to think our MC's got some questionable morals. When he goes to take out his first ant, the system pops up with a notification. Currently, you belong to the fire ant colony. Are you sure you want to attack your allies? So basically, that means he's become the ant's brother, right? Maybe he should check out the skill panel for those ants. The first skill that catches his eye is colony direction. He can guide the ants to search for resources needed by the queen. Then there's the second skill, the group attack. This attack lets him lead the ant colony to swarm targets together, grabbing resources the queen needs. And don't forget skill number 3, the formic acid spray. This skill makes the ants fire off their acid attack. A bubble of formic acid's lightly toxic and super corrosive hits the target, and you can even combo it with a group attack to crank up the damage. In other words, this is everything he ever wanted. He's about to lead the future of the ant colony. So, just like that, he kicks off the marching attack, taking all those ants into a slightly darker part of the forest. The first target is right up ahead, a level 5 demon thorn. Next up was the level 7 bloodthirsty green worm, and then the third was the deep forest slime monster, level 9. He's already taken down about 3 monsters. But the ants, including the spider, have taken out 4, and now they're totally wiped out and have lost a bunch in battle. He starts yelling at one of the ants, telling her not to stop and rest, because they've got a ton of stuff to do. If she doesn't do it, someone else will. Oh, and this guy just keeps going with his lectures. To that ant, ants are born just to work, and lazy ants, they're just useless to the team. He's been watching that ant for a long time and is totally disappointed with her behavior, because she also needs to have some serious big picture thinking skills. She's got to work together with her ant siblings and handle all the tactical needs. So, surrounding, attacking, she's got to have some kind of awareness, no doubt about it. Anyway, he keeps slaying monsters and manages to level up again, going from level 8 to level 9. And this time, the unlucky victim was a level 10 demon cat. Oh boy, young ants these days are so fragile, and they make such a mess, don't they? Well, ants versus a giant cat. I gotta say, I think this fight was way out of the ants' league. He climbs on top of that cat and realizes his whole ant squad got wiped out as the only one left standing. But all this guy, as the monster's levels went up, the ant's death rate shot up too. And just like that, he ran out of ants. So does that mean it's time to head to the next ant nest? He knows there's a higher level ant nest out there, and maybe, just maybe, he can even snag the queen. Well, he managed to level up from 9 to 10. The system congratulates player Yang King for being the first on the server to hit level 10, earning the title of Maniac. For each level, all experience gained gets multiplied. By 3% more, baby. But he's still stuck as a larva, a parasite, same old race. Level 10, Strength 0, Constitution, a whopping 100. So he's finally met all the requirements to advance his class. Naturally, he can now head to the city to get his very first class change. So that's exactly what he does. The system starts sending out the first player to meet the class advancement requirements. And for hitting level 10, he scored an epic reward. The Profession Fusion Scroll. That Fusion Scroll for professions. It's epic level, no less. And it's got this awesome epic attribute that lets you pick any 2 profession scrolls and fuse them into a brand new profession skill. With a super high chance of creating a hidden class. Whoa, he's absolutely loving this game, and he's the first player on the server to hit level 10. And let me tell you, the rewards for being the first to reach such high levels are seriously generous. All he's got to do now is open up his inventory and do a little organizing, so that's exactly what he does. He tidies everything up, and what's left in his inventory? Just the dragon egg and the unlimited food ticket. In that shiny new scroll he just got, there's the Profession Fusion, the ant armor he's already wearing, the life attribute that gives him an extra 100 HP, and the venomous ant gauntlets, which gives him another 50 HP. There's also the bitter fruit, just a common level item. It restores 30 health when you eat it. But man, is it sour. He's also got another attribute, Stinky Mud, also common level. It's consumable. If you throw it, it deals 80 poison damage. Just toss it and watch the chaos. And yeah, it smells absolutely awful. He's also got some demon cat claws as crafting material, and the teeth from a fire venom ant. And there's a golden spider's poison sac. And next to last, thorn seeds. Plus, as a material, some red worm meat. And finally, digestive mud matter, which basically means he's only got 2 plain white common items equipped. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? So he decides to equip them, even if those items don't show up visually. All that matters to him is that his HP just went up. What a lovely system, huh? The model's incompatible. The appearance swap failed, but his HP shot up by 1200 points and his mana by 50. Attack went up by 10, defense by 10, movement speed 5%. He knows there's a ton he's got to do to level up. And he's got to snag a bunch of gear and skills too. For now, all he needs to do is head to the city. And that way, he can complete his class advancement, so he can keep rolling with the main story. But while he's thinking, he notices things are getting kind of noisy around him. And there's a huge shadow looming nearby. He glances back and spots a giant rabbit, and it does not look happy to see him. The rabbit leaps right at him, but he manages to dodge, which means bingo. He's found his next host body to parasitize. Unlike the spider, this one was a total breeze to take over. But surprise, the system throws in a little bonus. He's now in a special state where, every minute, there's a 10% chance Hell break free from this condition. If the check fails, then Hell lose control of the rabbit. Even if he hasn't finished reading all the info the system gave him, the system pops up another notification saying he's completely lost control of that body. The rabbit takes off at full speed, running wild with no direction, and only manages to stop when it spots its weak point. Well, everybody knows a rabbit's weak spot is a pretty lady bunny and a bunch of carrots. That's basically every rabbit's dream come true. While he was trying to activate the parasitism, that rabbit just couldn't resist a gorgeous bunny girl. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, he had to watch the whole thing from the front row. All the while, he couldn't help but think that things were still moving way too fast. At this point, I totally got it, rabbits really are super speedy. So, watching those reactions, he kept thinking that, honestly, this game is the absolute best when it comes to recreating real emotions in a realistic world. But hey, that's exactly what you'd expect from the #1 virtual reality game on the planet. Good thing nobody saw that part though. No one can ever find out about that bit. Just between him, the rabbit, and the bunny girl. The bunny lovebird's romance comes to a screeching halt when they hear a weird noise in the forest. And now, he's plunged into a full-on panic mode. A giant, fluffy paw shows up and the system pops up a warning. He's entered the territory of King Alka the rabbit. Oh, and he's also messed with Alka's forbidden mate, which made that cuckolded rabbit king absolutely furious, sparking a cursed burning hatred. And that hatred won't end until that rabbit is dead and buried. We're talking about a boss-level creature here, a powerhouse that takes a team of at least 5 players of the same level just to have a shot at taking it down. Just look at the size of this rabbit, it's 6 times bigger than the first one. This dude can hit level 300, maxed out. Finally, some real challenge, his blood is boiling for battle. Just 30 minutes ago, at exactly 630 in the real world, a guy was telling the president that all the server launch rewards had already been handed out through a lottery. And get this, the first player to hit level 1000 is going to be from their country, and there's already a contender, Jonathan. This guy's got the highest base race value thanks to the bloodline of the interdimensional god totally outclassing the Torch Dragon descendant from their own country. C. Hes pretty strong too, but they also know about the existence of the incarnation of the wet slave from their country. And they're convinced that guy is going to become #1 in the world too. Country G managed to snag the Death Gator, but sadly, they missed out on the body of the God of Light and the incarnation of the divine Golden Beetle. Their top players have race values of 80, while only the very best from our country have hit a score of 90 points. One of the security guards overhears all this and can't help but feel super jealous. After all, those guys are the chosen ones picked by the national presidents. Their accounts must get tweaked by the highest authorities through the back end. Unfortunately, this guy's just your average player, so all he can do is be happy he lucked out with a second-generation werewolf bloodline, with a race value of 56. He glances at the woman and notices she's only got a flower uniform with a race value of 58. It's a race with insanely high natural affinity, but sadly, its combat power is super low. He keeps checking out the other security guards. And that one over there has the worst of the bunch. He's got a magic cyborg with a race value of 52. That guy's gonna have to shell out a ton and spend ages just to level up. The guy grabs the doorknob and tells everyone that just behind this door are the brightest stars of the future. He opens the door, and the very first thing he sees is a lifeless arm. He keeps opening the door, and then he spots a lifeless head. And that guy was Mr. Jonathan, from the country. Everyone inside that room, they're the top players who were waiting to be welcomed by the national presidents. Now everyone is dead. The guards start shouting that this is a terrorist attack. All the guards now have to protect the national leaders and evacuate the building. Pronto! But inside that room, there's a girl who says those people are just worthless obstacles, and she's not going to give them a single chance. And before anyone can even say her name, she already declares they can just call her the female protagonist. What an arrogant girl. Characters are created from inspiration, and her mission is to complete the main quest of that story. She knows all the solutions to crack the ultimatum puzzle. She leaves that room with a knife in her hand, saying she wants to finish her conversation with Yahello. That way, she'll be the first to hit level 1000. No, wait, that's just the condition. You have to have 3,000 accounts, all of them reaching level 1000. As she leaves that room, all that's left inside are just bodies. Already lifeless. She stares intently at those security guards, saying that humans alone can't reach this. She, Kevi, and Enro have transcended the lower races. She's the only hope. The guards point their guns at her, while the president asks where this disaster came from. But she's not scared. All she wants now is to talk to you. She points at the guards and asks if anyone here wants her to kill them. So what do you think? Do you want her to wipe everyone out? Since nobody answered, she figured everyone wanted her to kick off the massacre with the world's leaders. And honestly, that's exactly what the author wanted. And it's what our writers wanted too. But that move is totally pointless. Is everyone really sure she should keep going? Mountains, rivers, oceans, skyscrapers, ships, airships. That world is fake. And so are the bodies. And to really get where this girl came from, we've got to take a peek at her past. And also at the past, the one with the destruction of Earth. Humanity ended up exiled in space. That's where our story kicked off. In the real world, Iroh blocked humanity's spaceship. And then the main one, Pangu, created the virtual reality world to shield people from the harsh truth about Earth's destruction, believing they were still living in an age of peace and comfort. But they still had to deal with Iroh. So Pangu whipped up the world of the Stellars. And everyone believed that the one who could truly solve the crisis would emerge from that world. She and her 4 teammates made a pact to hit level 1000 at the same time. That way, they'd earn the right to face off against Yahello all together in the real world. Then, their minds got booted out of that narvel. But right at that moment, time stretched out an ultimate instant that felt infinitely longer. And the shorter it got, the more time sped up and rewound itself. It made everything a total mess. All she knows is that they were like a breeze drifting through campus, never catching the sun's attention. But one thing's for sure, he never saw them. Sadly, the Stellar's plan flopped, and when she woke up, she was already human, and she had evolved. A brain was no longer a necessary organ to contain a being like her, and she managed to get back to that ship all by herself. Even though she watched the day Stellar's was launched, she knew everything. She wondered if maybe she'd been reincarnated, but nope. Pangu hit the reset button on everyone's memory in the virtual reality. He wants to keep rebooting Stellar's until the real protagonist shows up. One of the world leaders starts yelling at that girl. Is she seriously planning to take on the leaders of all humanity? But deep down, he knows the real trailblazers who hold the world's secrets are them. He orders his security to kill her and find her brain immediately and destroy it too. Hearing that, she tosses the knife aside and says the 5 leaders aren't afraid of dying. After all, everyone knows Pangu already has backups, unless she destroys Pangu itself. One of the security guards congratulates her on her sudden comeback, and she really looks like she's just been through something wild. While the president is still stuck wondering, could it be true? Is Pangu really going to wipe everyone's memory? Another one said that if she pulls it off this time, humanity's totally going to thank her. But the other president was not at all happy about that girl calling herself the protagonist. People who call themselves that never end up well. They're just ridiculously arrogant. They think they can take on the whole world by themselves. And honestly, it looks like Pangu has gone above and beyond and given her high-level authority. Now all they can do is trust Panga's judgment. If she really is the protagonist, then she's going to open up the Stellaris route for all of humanity. So when she faced Hyro, it was the thought of saving all of humanity that actually made her evolve. And now, everyone's got to call her the great savior of humanity, the prophet, the leader of evolution, and the guide to the starry path. Speaking of which, those idiots caused some trouble before. She asked them not to let those guys come back to life again because they're just nasty creatures. He checks the clock, and it shows 7 p.m. At exactly 7 o'clock, Stellaris is going to launch, and she's jumping in too. While everyone's still in that room, she just vanishes from there. There's just one thing that's got me totally confused. She's got a woman's body, so we call her she. But she calls herself he. Man, my brain is in knots over this. The 5 leaders glance at each other and get it. All at the same time. It's like Pangu sent a message straight into their brains. And those players' brains are going to be locked up too, so they won't show up again. The leaders of the smaller nations know the truth. Now, they'll have to give them more info as needed. That way, there won't be any need to reset their memories again. After all, Pangu thinks the more variables there are, the better the odds of getting a brilliant answer. The girl popped back up in the starter village, but this time with totally different clothes, because the last outfit was way too tight. And she's into clothes that are a bit looser anyway. Unfortunately, her stats are still pretty low. She needs some gear to max out her skills. Maybe she'll even score some divine items that wipe out all those pesky weight penalties. She remembers that, in her last life, in that pathetic dump with the bloodline of an interdimensional god, he managed to get some awesome gear, and she remembers he grabbed the main cannon from a planet-class ship and used it as his main weapon. She decides to open up her character sheet in the system. One of her race's stats is at 50 HP, 50 strength, 0 constitution, 50 mana, 0 intelligence, 1 attack, 50 agility, and 50 defense. 0 charm, that's just wild. Movement speed, a whopping 500%. She decided to use the same name, the one she used last time, Pangu Xing, the brightest star in the sky. Ooh-ho, someone's already using that name. But Pangu Xing is available. Does she want to go with that one? When she saw the second notification, she figured someone must have logged in as Pangu Xing and then canceled at the same time. Could it be that her 4 friends have also come back and are trying to send her a signal? Alright then, she decides to just confirm with the first name. And what about whoever's chasing after her? Well, they'll show up eventually, so she decides to get a head start and snags the newbie village treasure first. Wow, that girl really knows how to use her speed skills. She even earned the title Quick as a Ghost. She was already super fast, but now her attack speed is boosted by 50%, and she gets a 10% skill bonus every time she deals damage. Oh, and every time she lands a hit, a phantom attack deals the same amount of damage again. Meanwhile, a little farther away at Zhang's blacksmith workshop, the guy's just chilling when an adventurer shows up way too early. She checks out this blacksmith who thinks he's the toughest guy in the newbie village, an NPC who's as arrogant as he is rude. But hey, he's actually pretty important because through him, everyone can meet a key character in the story. The guy just waves his foot at her, like it's not even worth the effort to shoo her away with his hands. She's blocking his sunlight while he's trying to relax. As she studies this NPC, she wonders how any human could possibly simulate programming language and send coded signals. Oh man, this NPC is glitching out. Later, she's going to tweak some of the data. But unfortunately, she'll have to fix those numbers later, just to avoid ticking off Pengu. She glances up at the sky and asks Pengu to transfer about 100 grand into her account, and she promises she'll pay it back later. And just like magic, damn hard, Naro's 1,000 lands in her account. She can use all that cash to buy weapons with 0 restrictions, no level or class limits holding her back. That way, she can boost her stats with every kind of weapon you can imagine. Seriously, whatever she wants. But this NPC, he's so full of himself, he just can't believe she's got that much money. If she can't pay up, he's ready to call the guards and make sure she learns a lesson she won't forget. The first weapon up for grabs is a longsword, powerful enough to boost its wielder all the way up to level 300. And it's going for about 1,000 gold. And the guy thinks that's a totally fair price. But our protagonist, as soon as she lays eyes on that sword, realizes it's forged using the exact same method she knows. She learned this from that NPC who's still hiding out somewhere. She's got a skill called Fair Assassination, which gives you 50% more damage against monsters. She knows that newbies are always short on good materials, so the stats on their gear are usually pretty mediocre. Among all the weapons at the same level, in other words, it's just another toy. And the odds of getting weapons as drops when you kill monsters? Super low. In the world of Stellaris, most players are still rocking that green elite gear at level 300. That sword, though, has a light attribute and packs a sweet base bonus damage. For a lot of people, it's their very first blue lord tier weapon. She grabs the sword, points it at the NPC, and says she wants 4 of these for the price of 1,000 gold each. The NPC gives her a sideways glance and says there's no way he's doing that. He already told her the price once, and it's about 1,000 gold. But when the sword's already at his neck, gleaming and sharp, he realizes this girl isn't here to haggle, she's here to make demands. Unfortunately, he's got no way out, but he warns her that with an attitude like that, she's not going to last long in this jungle full of crazies. He tells her to watch her back once she steps out the door. The NPC starts looking for the swords. While she remembers in her past life, a player had recruited this guy after building their own city, and he actually forged a divine weapon. Back then, the average player level was around 600. In fact, for him, divine weapons weren't even rare anymore. After rummaging around for a bit, these are the best weapons he's got in the shop. There's the luminous iron bow, the shining staff, the sacred dagger, the iron hammer of mercy, and of course, the 4 elite weapons. There are also some regular weapons: an axe, a spear knife, a snakeskin sword, a rusty chain, a rusty axe, a scythe blade gauntlet, a farm tool, a farm hoe, making a grand total of 10,000. Alright, that's settled then. She grabs the bag with all the weapons inside, 13 items in total. In that world of Stellars, players can learn and create their own moves, even bringing real-life skills into the game to craft their own unique fighting style. That means you can import all your weapon skills from your previous life. So, the system kicks in right away. A lovely notification pops up. She's now skilled with a bunch of weapons and has earned herself a brand new title. And when she switches weapons in battle, her next weapon gets about a 20% damage boost. Now, with this new title, she can wield a sword and land a close-range blow. Then, she can switch it up and use a physical bow to attack from a distance. And let's not forget the magic staff, also great for long-range action. With the dagger, she can land critical hits, and with the hammer, she can block attacks too. Honestly, she's got the best starter weapons any player could ask for. Now she's going to start clearing things out. She'll mow down low-level monsters at top speed, quickly hitting level 10. And just like that, she becomes the server's #1 since she's already finished her shopping spree. She'd better get out of that shop right away, because that NPC wants to chill a bit longer and soak up some more vitamin D from the sun. Now she can only come back there once she hits level 20. But she knows where the hidden NPC is and heads straight there. And you guys know where he is too. Yep, that NPC is chilling out in the jungle, so it's a bit farther away. There she is, taking down a rooster. A level 3 sugarcane pheasant, and she's showing off her weapon switching skills. Yep, still swapping weapons like a pro. She switches to her bow and instantly takes out a level 5 deer. And then she switches again, this time to the magic staff, and obliterates a level 2 slime. And she's just getting started. She keeps up the weapon swapping and uses a dagger to take down a level 7 pigman. And when she spots a wolf, she grabs her hammer and lands a smack right on the monster's head. She knows there are 10 bosses in the first chapter, and the level 10 boss is just a regular monster. But the bosses at levels 20, 40, 60, and 80 are elites. Oh, and get this, the bosses at 30, 50, 70, and 90 are the lords. The level 100 boss is the heroic monster. Naturally, this is going to be her first time beating these monsters in this life, and this time, they're going to drop gear that's 1 level higher than where she's at now, and she's grabbing it all. After all, she's at level 9. While she's scooping up the dropped loot, a level 10 raven tiger appears, a colossal monster. But without a word, it charges at her, eyes blazing with bloodlust. While it's still in the air, she doesn't bother waiting for it to land, because that beast is just way too slow. She rushes in, totally determined to wipe out this threat right away, wielding both her axe and her longsword. She slashes the monster's belly over and over, lightning fast. Poor tiger didn't stand a chance. It couldn't even process what was happening with that human moving so fast. Sadly, it bit the dust. Its HP hit 0 after all. She was so quick, the body hit the ground before the blood even started to fall. This girl is seriously cocky. She glances back and brags that she's shining at max speed, pulling off multi-attacks. She's like the brightest star, burning non-stop. So, she earned the title of Tiger Slayer. This title lets her deal 20% more damage to creatures bigger than her, and it also unlocked a hero skill, Sacrifice Strike. With this skill, she throws caution to the wind life and death don't matter. It drains her HP, mana, and stamina. But in return, her next attack will deal a whopping 500% damage. Plus, if her health is full, that gets added as bonus damage too. Then she scored another elite piece of gear, the Vampiric Scythe. At long last, she hit level 10 and met all the requirements to change her class. Now the system is telling her to go back to the starter town to switch classes. But honestly, she's not in the mood to head back just to change her class. First things first, she heads straight to take on the level 20 boss, all by herself, the Rabbit King Alka. Looks like she's itching for a showdown with that giant bunny. Meanwhile, the horned bunny, the bunny king is duking it out with the parasitized rabbit. He charges in and headbutts at lightning speed, sending the little bunny flying at a ridiculous velocity. But the flurry of attacks doesn't stop there. He leaps sky high, aims right at the downed bunny, and when he lands, he smashes a bunch of rocks to bits. But our protagonist was quick on the uptake and dodged just in time. But the bunny's not about to give up. By now, he's already thrown everything he's got headbutt, jump, smash, and the only thing left is to go for a bite. Luckily, our MC managed to dodge, because if that bite had landed, it would have been game over, my friend. Since he's a bunny, he's about to bust out his jump combo, so he uses that classic bunny skill of hopping in. He combos it up and starts running, hopping along the way. But hey, the king bunny knows how to jump too. Even though they're both rabbits, this king bunny stats are off the charts. Winning that fight? Totally impossible. Every jump the king bunny makes covers 3 times the distance of the parasitized bunny's leap. So if that's the case, all he can do is head straight for the forest. And once he's inside the forest, he spots a bunch of gigantic trees. So he keeps hopping, leaving the open space behind. Now he's in a totally closed-off area, packed with trees everywhere. Time to bust out the agile jump skill. With this jump skill, he can actually change direction while he's still in midair. In other words, he's gonna hop around, zigzagging all over the place. That way, it makes things way harder. Especially for the king bunny's long-distance leaps. That strategy turns out to be absolutely deadly for that big bunny. Because on the very first turn, he smashes his brand new hornyep, the one on his head right, into a massive tree. Now, with all that boosted mobility, catching him is gonna be a real pain. But the bunny's not about to give up just yet. He's getting more and more ticked off with this whole situation. The king bunny slams his fist into the ground and it bursts out the other side, landing a direct hit. One of our MC's bunnies too. He totally didn't see that one coming. A magical attack, just what you'd expect from a top-tier boss. That bunny's mobility is off the charts and its attack power, health, and damage are insanely high. That's why it's famous as the ultimate beginner lawnmower monster. Solo players need a seriously strong class and at least level 30 if they want to take this beast headin'. While he's busy trying to come up with a plan, a bunny drops right on the spot where he was, from way out there. Even in midair, there's no way he's escaping that bunny's jaws. But now there's no choice left, he's got to cancel the parasitism. And so, that's exactly what he does. The king bunny, after munching down on that smaller bunny, gained about 10 points of health. And our MC face planted right into the ground. Now that the king bunny has gobbled up that little bunny and finished his revenge, he's totally chill. Meanwhile, the caterpillar is thinking, maybe hatred has its limits. That means the bunny can't chase after him. In other words, the grudge is tied to the body, not to him personally. Realizing this, he lets loose his psycho aura. No one can blame him for not being ruthless. Now he quickly hides and keeps thinking about the king bunny's skills like high-speed charging and that epic super jump. He's also got the power to summon spikes, fun stuff, carrots, and a bunch of basic abilities like fork, intimidation, species skills, and a whole lot more. Which means he's already figured out a way to take down this giant bunny. This forest is the same one that gives him food, but it could also be the very place that sends him to his grave. A while later, the bunny is still lying down, chilling after his delicious meal and that fancy dish. Burning with revenge, he opens his eyes and spots a female bunny, and to this bunny king, she's absolutely irresistible. And guess what? That's our MC right there. Leeching off that gorgeous lady bunny, he starts wiggling his butt and flashes a cheeky grin at the bunny king. Naturally, the bunny king just couldn't resist the charm of this beautiful bunny girl. Alright, everything's going according to plan. He managed to get the bunny king to hook up with that cute bunny. And just like that, he bought himself a little more time. But, unlike last time, this time, he's not about to take part in that totally inappropriate scene. He quickly bails out of the parasitism. Now he leaps away and latches onto a praying mantis. He knows the king's biggest weakness shows up during mating season, because his third leg is completely out in the open, putting his weakness on full display. All he's got to do now is activate the pedicure master. I didn't really get that part. I didn't see the rabbit's third leg. Yeah, me neither. Honestly, I didn't want to see it either, but I know you out there were curious about the rabbit's third leg. He charges at the rabbit, activating his ultimate pedicure master skill. But unfortunately, the conditions weren't met, the activation failed, and his attack only took about 30 hit points off the rabbit. One slash landed right on the rabbit's butt, and now the rabbit's ticked off while the lady rabbit is just totally confused. But our MC knows this guy is trying to heal himself by munching on his own kind. Oh, but there's no way he's letting this monster get away with that. So, quick as a flash, he cancels the parasitism and leaps, activating the parasite skill and manages to latch onto that lady rabbit, jumping away in a split second and saving her from being gobbled up by the Rabbit King. He starts hopping and dashing like crazy. Meanwhile, the Rabbit King is hot on his tail. He knows there's no way he can outrun this Rabbit King, and flying is totally out of the question. When he gets close to a level 30 demonic tree, he activates parasitism again and latches onto that massive tree. The Rabbit King manages to catch up to that little lady rabbit and is just about to chomp down on her. But hey, it's not going to be that easy. Not so fast. He activates entanglement and manages to wrap up the rabbit's feet. Now, all he's got to do is lift that rabbit up. His attack power might be high when the Healing Root Master is activated, and he can even control this monster. But only for a few seconds, which means in those few seconds, he's got just enough time to finish off this boss. Right after that, he fires up the accelerated absorption from the plant race, plus his exclusive gnawing skill, speeding up the nutrient absorption like crazy. That way, he completely absorbs that rabbit lying on the ground, fully restoring his health. But his plan doesn't stop there. This is just the beginning. That's the territory of the demon trees, a place where your movement speed gets a bit slower. Naturally, those monsters don't attack that Rabbit King. But when he got there, he used his parasitic ability over and over, constantly switching between different bodies. So, each tree activates its vine entanglement on that king, Monster Rabbit. In other words, that rabbit doesn't stand a chance of running away. He's completely tied up and thrown to the ground. The second phase of his plan is to use the fire-type poisonous ant colony. Now all he has to do is trigger the group attack with the formic acid spray. Even though this plan has totally worn him out, it's obvious that the Rabbit King doesn't stand a chance of surviving, right? He keeps using the cyclical control between the trees to tangle things up, switching back and forth between the golden-patterned venomous spider, the fire-poison ant colony, and even the demon cat and other corpses to unleash special abilities. And the most important task he's got is controlling the level 9 deep forest slime. And do you know what this monster's main ability is? It's none other than corrosive dissolution. This power lets him corrode or break down anything continuously, and he can attack way more often because of it. And for the grand finale, he zeroes in on the rabbit's feet, blasting them with corrosive dissolution at max frequency, teamed up with the Master Curie Foot. A Rabbit King is tough, but its health bar is almost toast. And look at that, what a thing of beauty. He actually triggered the Master Curie Foot's 1% instant death chance. Congratulations. You managed to take down Lord Alka, the Rabbit King, and scored a Harrow-level piece of gear, the Hermit's Ring, and you even picked up a new skill, Parasitic Effect. Creatures he parasitizes can be given a command to carry out after the parasitism ends. But hey, the rewards don't stop there. He also hit level 10, can't level up any further for now, but all that sweet experience is stacking up. All he's got to do now is head to town and snag his first-class advancement as soon as possible. When the Rabbit King died, he dropped a hero-level ring, the Hermit's Ring. This bad boy gives you a 30% dodge chance when you're behind other targets. Plus, you're way less likely to get noticed. It can even hide your name from the rankings and all sorts of other notifications. Ah, this is exactly what he wanted. He slips the ring onto his finger in a flash. Even though this ring isn't as high level as the Resurrection one, its stats are absolutely godly. Now that giant horned bunny, the Rabbit King isn't a problem anymore, it's time to get on with the rest of the preparations for his ultimate goal. When she returns to that forest, all the memories from her previous life come flooding back. Like a movie playing in her head. She's one of the first people to get there. And of course, the grass is absolutely wild, so she starts hacking away at everything with her gorgeous scythe, carving a path deeper into the forest. But all she can think about is that feeling of freedom, breaking free from the limits of being human. Yeah, it's honestly amazing. A little further into the woods, she recognizes a few trees. Now, finally, she's found the first spot. This is the lair of King Rabo Saka, the Bunny King. Since she knows she's super close to the Bunny King, she decides to sneak in. But something's off. Is the Bunny King dead? She knows that whoever takes down King Rabo first, his level 20, by the way gets the Hermit's Ring, which reveals the best hidden spots. The girl's super suspicious, so she decides to switch weapons, grabbing her short sword which stacks up bonus damage for a killer strike. She grips the sword and creeps closer to the bunny, moving in, real slow. She's thinking this giant bunny is just snoozing, but she also knows its alert radius is 5 meters. This way, you will activate the magic from a distance. So the best move is to get close, and then go in fast to take out that bunny. But just as she's moving in for the kill, a vine lashes out at her. She totally freaks out but manages to dodge it. That was way too close. She jumps back, trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Is that really a vine pit? How could there be demon trees in the Bunny King's territory? Where she landed, more cracks start to appear, and the only thing that could mean Ish is under attack. A vine shoots out from there at lightning speed and manages to knock the girl's weapon away. As she's falling, she keeps thinking that this Bunny King uses spikes in the ground. Wait, did the mechanics actually change? Well, as she's falling, it's definitely not going to be a soft landing, because the bunny's already right behind her, busting out that super jump. The bunny's headbutt lands squarely on the girl's back, sending her flying. As she's tumbling through the air, she realizes he's chaining those charges together at crazy speed. How is that even possible? But the bunny's not done with his combo yet. He leaps above her midair and slams both hands down, landing another hit right on her chest. He hurls her straight into the ground with everything he's got. The force of the girl's crash is so intense, it smashes through several trees nearby. And she keeps getting dragged along the ground for several more meters. Her health bar, completely empty. One of the bunnies comes over to check if the girl's really dead. But hey, that bunny's not exactly innocent. He says there's a fresh human body right there, which means he can play as the human character again. I knew that bunny was way too smart for his own good. And surprise, surprise, it's none other than our boy. He managed to parasite the Rabbit King. This guy thought players would only show up there after 2 days. He never expected to catch one right after setting a trap, just one of those post-parasite perks. After canceling the parasitism, he can still use the Demon Tree's Vine Entanglement skill. As for the bunny, he could use Earth Spike Summoning, Super Jump, and a Speed Charge. That combo could instantly wipe out even a level 20 tank. And after that, it turned into a war of attrition, and the Rabbit King isn't scared of that at all. Oh, he got super hyped, and now he's going to use parasitism. Well, that's just how he rolls. He starts parasitizing that girl's body, and boom, it's done. The girl wakes up. Now, she's basically a zombie. She jumps up, saying she's really turned back into a human. Oh, and that body is seriously strong and has some mind-blowing mobility, so he decides to check out her agility stats. But then he notices she's got super low health. Maybe he should go for a build that's a bit more balanced. But honestly, that's not really going to be a problem. As long as he's in that body, he can head into town to level up his class. That way, he can snag his favorite class, the combat class. But if he really wants to milk this whole parasitism thing, a magic class would actually be a better fit. And if he wants to go Allen on parasitism, like making it his core, he could control multiple bodies and adapt to all sorts of situations. Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky, but maybe that's actually the best choice. Alright, so that's settled. He really does know what the perfect, most compatible class would be, with his awesome power. And it just so happens to be everyone's favorite class, Necromancer. This class can mess around with dark elements, collect and control bodies, and even tinker with the magic of life itself. Since Necromancers have to level up from the basic mage class, this class is just perfect. Off he goes, racing full speed to the newbie village. On the way, he runs into a bunch of gray wolves. But not a single one of them can even scratch the girl's body. With just a few slashes, he gets through them pretty easily. After landing a couple of hits, he notices a super interesting attribute allocation. Wow, this is one seriously skilled player, huh? With high crit chance and attack speed to boot. As long as her moves and techniques are on point, her life skills can totally make up for the low base health. He recognizes that kind of power. That's the magic of Stellaris. Well, while he's geeking out over his system info, the gray wolves just keep piling up. All he's wondering is whether they'll come at him one by one, or just rush him all at once. A little further off, still in the forest, there's a group of warriors whose luck just got a serious boost. This time, they managed to snag a beast-class scroll and an elite pet egg at the same time. And yeah, they actually took down that giant snake. And what's even better? These items are super rare. That monster tamer scroll is elite level and usable all the way up to level 200. Pair that with the elite python egg, and the tiger hunting team is totally on track to become the biggest guild around. But the mage already knows he's going to hand that scroll over to his big brother. After all, he still hasn't done his level 10 class advancement yet. So maybe he could become a master tamer. I mean, if he hadn't lured that giant python into the forest, they probably would have had to respawn back in the city. But nope, this guy has zero interest in being a tamer. All he wants is to blaze his own trail. As a warrior, maybe he should just go ahead and take the class advancement himself. That way, they'll keep their level advantage and keep on looting other players left and right. Now, all they have to do is check how much damage the shield took, see how the assassin's doing, and then head back to the city. Looks like these guys are blocking the village entrance with all their gear. The girl decides to check out what loot that dead assassin's got, and after they upgrade their equipment, they're gonna keep blocking the village entrance. So that's exactly what she does. She goes to check what loot the fallen assassin dropped when he died. Our girl is watching all of this, thinking that this is the first time players have run into a notorious newbie hunting group. Those guys are totally taking advantage of their early game lead, camping right outside the newbie village. Beginner players only get tiny amounts of money and quest items from those starter missions. Those guys are weak, still stuck in combat, and honestly, super easy to kill. But there's a whole bunch of them. While they're messing with newbies, they don't get punished at all. After all, there's no rule saying it's wrong. Well, he turns into a little ball and bounces over there. The girl picks up that green ball, trying to figure out what it is. Meanwhile, he's got that evil grin on his face again. This guy's got a plan. All that dude wanted was to get his hands on the Beast Tamer scroll, and he finally pulled it off. Honestly, the boss is basically his best buddy. The girl stands up and decides to dump all the gear she collected onto the ground. After she piles up all the equipment, she realizes it's all low-level stuff. And on top of that, there's only 980 gold coins and a pet egg. If he throws everything on the ground, he can just scoop it all up. But quick as a flash, the mage notices. What's this priestess up to? She's tossing all the loot she gathered onto the floor? Yeah, looks like she's been mind-controlled or something. So, our boy starts taking her clothes off, yeah, that guy who's totally clueless about what's going on. Now things just got even weirder, but hey, he seems to be enjoying it, because he stopped asking questions. He also starts by taking off the girl's skirt. Meanwhile, the mage is just sitting back and watching the whole show, and that guy is losing his mind. He gets close to the girl, taps her on the shoulder, and says he appreciates all her kindness and knows she's excited for this. But she doesn't need to rush, because they can date first. With marriage as the goal, yep, he did it again. Using one girl to parasite someone else. And now this mage, with a single leap. Only the mage didn't stand a chance. Our little caterpillar landed face first right on the mage's face. A little while later, that boss, the guild warrior, is busy collecting all the materials from that snake. And with that, he managed to get a bunch of meat from that giant python. Thunder. While he was gathering this stuff, that forest was super quiet. And then, collecting the items went way faster than he expected. Now he's got bone horns to forge weapons and leather to make some sweet armor. Leveling up his class won't be a problem anymore. And check this out. How tasty is that? He even managed to find an epic level class scroll, which can help him hit level 500. Seriously, there's no class barrier that can stop this guy now. He grabs the class scroll and decides to go with Death Nate. That class gives you hybrid stats, both physical and magical, and you even get immunity to physical attacks. He can control undead mounts, and can even advance his class to things like Black Dragon Nat. He knows a bunch of players have already leaked the info that some small towns have NPC religious factions, like Temples of Light and Darkness. Now with this rare class in hand, maybe he can even snag an official position at the Temple of Darkness. Super happy now, he keeps stashing items away in his inventory. Since he's all done, it's time to head back to town with his buddies. But when he glances over at his friends, he spots a seriously weird scene. The girl's on the ground, the guy standing up, and yep, you guessed it, both of them are totally naked. This guy figures everyone's just having a good time outdoors. And they didn't even invite him. He thinks that skinny dude better wrap things up quick. So he turns away and waits for a bit. But it's taking forever, so he turns back to see what's going on. And the two of them are still just standing there, not moving a muscle. He decides to get closer, thinking maybe his buddy's still a virgin. Maybe he needs a little help. Naili goes right in and hugs that skinny wizard. He's supposed to be a Nate, so naturally, he should be a bit quicker with that lovely lady. But his happy face quickly turns into a blazing fireball. Because it was nothing but a trap. A surprise attack hits him square on the head, and sends him flying, his face getting seriously burned. The guy has no idea what just happened. What the heck is this guy doing? He was just, kindly trying to teach him how to lose his V card, and now the dude's trying to rebel. Well, but before this guy can even finish talking, the girl steps up, and using her skill, she smears some of that slime goo right into the warrior's eyes. Now this guy's starting to get annoyed and shouts out. He orders them to remove the debuffs right now, but nope, nobody's removing anything. When he finally manages to wipe the slime off his face, he realizes the two of them are about to collapse. If he was already confused before, now his brain is just total chaos, seeing those two bodies lying there, totally naked. As he's still scraping off the leftover slime goo, he's just as lost as ever. But then, out of nowhere, a girl pops up at the top of a tree and says, "That's the parasitic effect at work." And by the way, those two bodies, they totally nailed their part in the plan, and now it's his turn to make an entrance. He does a front flip, scythe in hand, swoops down at lightning speed, and goes for a stab at the warrior lying on the ground. But the attack misses. The guy's quick, he dodges just in time, and as he's dodging, he draws his sword, but the girl's not about to give him a chance to react. She's already right up close, grinning with the scythe in her hand, totally ready to land the final blow. Her strike is deadened, right in the middle of his chest, but he manages to block it. Using his sword, the girl moves so fast she actually kicks up a cloud of dust. This guy's not like the others, she's super smart, has serious skills, and his reflexes are off the charts. The guy grins, realizing she has no idea who he is. Then he starts whistling, and suddenly, more people appear from the middle of the forest. One of them, who totally looks like an assassin, says their boss was the first player to hit level 1000, and also the first to reach level 10. And as for her, she's just a monkey trying to steal from the Tiger Hunters gang. Tigers. All our girl does when she hears that is flash a big smile. And she lived life in the fast lane. She thought she could take him down with just one more hit. But he says this girl will never stand a chance. The assassin then activates stealth mode and starts blending right into the surroundings. Like he's turning into mist or something. Meanwhile, the second warrior, who totally looks like a tank, jumps in and gets ready to block every single one of her attacks. Their plan is basically this. Try to buy time until the mage and the priest can get there. After all, those two have already respawned. All they said was that the moment something hit their faces, they totally lost control of their bodies and their health dropped straight to zero. Now, the guy finally gets just how dangerous this threat really is. That girl is controlling at least one hero level summon. 400. If they manage to steal it, it's gonna be worth a ton of money. But the boss of that gang, he doesn't want to sell anything. Once a mage levels up to Beast Tamer, they can tame creatures like they're just cute little pets. And he already knows exactly which creature he's gonna get there. It's that little green critter sitting on top of her head. But our boy just keeps on thinking. If you get parasitized and the check fails, boom, you're dead on the spot. Yeah, looks like parasitism really is a god-tier skill. Just imagine if he manages to parasitize a boss with hundreds of levels right off the bat. Well, that would be an absolute bloodbath in the newbie village. Maybe he's just thinking way too small. He could just grab the leaderboard and wipe out everyone on it. Starting with the highest level player. That way, he could totally dominate the whole server, so nobody else would be able to level up. But while he's busy daydreaming, the shield warrior charges in to attack, sneakily from behind. But the girl who's been parasitized didn't even need to look to dodge it. She was still in midair, dodging the other guy at the same time. A warrior boss? He decided to go for a back attack using the crescent slash skill. Even so, he just sliced off a few strands of her hair, and then, not giving up, he kept his combo going, this time busting out the poison thrust. The girl managed to dodge, but wow, that one was a close call. If it had even grazed her face, the poison in the dagger would have kicked in. While she was dodging, she slyly tossed her scythe, and now all she had to do was yank it back fast. She yanked the scythe back, planted the handle in the ground, used it as a springboard, and landed a wickedly strong deaden kick right to the warrior's gut. The impact was brutal, and while she was getting ready to land, the guy was basically flying up toward the clouds. That attack was insanely powerful. The warrior totally felt it, and he even started to go full god tier. No wonder they decided to team up as rookie slayers if they were just regular players. Even if they were skilled, there's no way they could handle this kind of teamwork. But he's no ordinary specialist, and that body of his has an insanely strong ability called Weapon Master. She can switch between all kinds of different weapons. But then, a wild idea pops into our little caterpillar's head back. When she finished saying the word weapons, he had actually dropped a bunch of different weapons that those warriors had stolen and also randomly collected. Out of nowhere, the girl just stops fighting and heads straight for the weapons, while the warriors are left totally clueless about what she's up to. But all she really wanted to do was scoop up swords, bows, and daggers. The two who had died earlier suddenly showed up again, zipping in with the teleportation scroll. But check this out. What a treat. The mage starts freaking out, yelling that the Beast Tamer scroll is mixed in with the pile of weapons that fell, while everyone else is running around in a panic. Wow, the kid already managed to scoop up every single item he wanted. Yeah, it's like a thief stealing from another thief. That means you get 100 years of forgiveness. Well, now there are 5 people teaming up to take him down, which basically means they're treating him like a boss monster. Alright, time for Plan C, run for your life. As he's sprinting away, he actually thanks everyone for helping him level up to his next rank. Nobody saw it coming that girl would just bolt. One of the bosses orders the assassin to go after her. After all, he's the only one who can catch up to her with his insanely high agility. So he follows orders and takes off. The girl is ridiculously fast. Unfortunately, Quick Step isn't available right now. So he whips out some kind of drug, injects it straight into his neck, every last drop, and now he's moving way faster than before. If he hadn't died before and dropped down to level 9, it would have been a piece of cake to catch her using those Quick Step skills. Yeah right, keep dreaming. He tells that assassin not to take it personally. After all, it was just one death, no big deal. But the only reason this assassin is chasing after her is because of the Tamer and Elite scroll, that super rare scroll. And it can be sold for over 10 grand. Our boy tells the assassin to get rid of that warrior. That way, the Tamer scroll will be his. The warrior glances back and says she offered a ridiculously high price. But the boss warns that if he betrays him, he'll log in just to hunt him down. While the girl's running, she trips over a rock. As she falls, all the weapons she'd collected before go flying across the ground. The team of thieves spots exactly where she is. Now this girl's got absolutely no way out. One assassin thinks she's down for the count and they finally caught her. The mage tells everyone to be careful when they go to grab the girl. But wait, look who just showed up, the horned rabbit, or the rabbit king right behind him. And the rabbit totally lives up to his nickname, smashing the mage's back flat, and right after that, landing a left hook on the priestess. But the team's tank is dead set on blocking any attack that comes his way with his shield. But all that comes at him is just the rabbit's middle finger yep, just like that. He managed to distract the enemy while activating his own skill. And then a giant carrot spike shot up, completely rooting itself right in the tank's backside. The attack was so powerful that the tank died instantly. Oh my god, that must have hurt. One of the thief bosses was absolutely terrified when he saw that every time the carrot spike rose, it got even thicker. If that attack had hit him, he would have been toast in a split second too. I seriously doubt he could have handled it either. Well, the assassin got so scared for his precious future that he totally lost his fighting spirit. All he could do was run as far away from that rabbit as possible. Oh, but Bunny's not about to let that happen. Our guy charges forward, piloting the parasitized King Rabbit's body at lightning speed and manages to cut off the assassin, while all the poor assassin can do is brace himself for the end. But all he hears is that his death won't be instant. So he opens his eyes and realizes he's still in one piece, all because that giant rabbit is busy fighting someone else. First off, well, that doesn't even look like a fight, it's more like a massacre. The leader of that team is getting absolutely wrecked, and that was the real goal of the Rabbit King all along. The boss can't take many more hits like that, and unfortunately, he's already lost consciousness. But now, this is the perfect chance for our boy to jump in and take over his brand new body. All our guy wants to see right now is what kind of items does this dude have, and what are his abilities. Since he canceled the Rabbit King's parasitism, a lifeless body drops to the ground with a massive thud. As the dust rises, the warrior stands up, but now with a totally different look in his eyes and a seriously dark expression on his face. The assassin tries to crawl away, but he's way too weak and just keeps shaking with fear. Jusef keeps striding toward the assassin, radiating this insanely powerful green aura. And when he gets close, he flashes a grin and asks what's inside the backpack, but the guy can't get a single word out. So he decides to check for himself. Well, this piece of work is pretty impressive. Honestly, I was hoping for some kind of physical upgrade. All I want to know now is where he's been wandering around. The girl, who's probably already back to life by now. I've got no doubt she's going to get super strong and want to take on our little monster again. That's it, folks. That's all we've got for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stick around for the next video.